Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Astral Sorcery. Today we're going to be covering the simplicity that is lenses and prisms. So as you can see behind me, there's a whole slew of colors. Yes, quite a bit. It's really impressive what you can do with prisms and lenses, or rather prism lenses and, well, lenses in general. But let's get into this, shall we? First and foremost, always open your book, and I'll show you what we're covering today. We're going to cover all these different lenses here, as well as the crystal prism, or the prism lens, as it may be called. And it's more a showcase in this case, because it's up to you to decide on the different ways that you want to use these, but they're really, 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 really good. If ever you wanted to have a farm of some sort, this is really going to be the way to go. So let me put down this resonating wand. I don't want that anymore. Get into survival mode, and then I could potentially explain what it is that is going on here. So first, let's get this off of here, and I'm going to dig this up. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to start off with the basics, because when you first start into this, looking in your book, you won't be able to make a crystal prism quite so easily with that. Oh wait, I guess you can. You know, I was wrong. Look at that. You can make crystal prisms straight off the bat, which makes it even better. But let me demonstrate how they work with regular lenses first, and then we can go with the regular crystal prisms, just because that expands on it a lot. So, as you can see here, this collector crystal is currently focused on this lens. See, there's like a little light beam going down to it. If I take this lens and I aim it over here at the iridescent altar, nothing happens. It's not going to do that because there's a big old wall in the way, right? And we've got light here. In fact, let's get this one off the top there too. It's currently up here to about the constellation paper. It's not getting through. You don't see the beam or anything. Well, that is where the spectral lens comes in. It's made with a simple recipe, and it works just by clicking it on there. You notice I've got two in my inventory. Let's get rid of one of these here. I click one on there, and it will affect one lens. You can see that it's purple. And it therefore goes over here, and it will add light to this, provided that it can accept more from it. But currently it's being cannibalized because there's other stuff going on. But anyway, you can see it will actually show light through here and pass through walls. That's what spectral lenses do. To remove a lens from, or remove one of these different lens covers from a lens, you just sneak and right click and you can take it off. Right click, and you put it back on. And you can actually see it visually on there because it'll give you the different color respective on there, which is just nice in general. Now, if I wanted to use this further, let's say I wanted to direct it even more so. Let's have this linked to here, and then I have this linked to there. You'll notice that it is no longer purple. It is now white. It's because one lens cover, as I'm going to call all of these different colored ones, one different lens cover is essentially going to only allow you to go one. So if anything, you want to transmit your starlight up to the point that you need it to be used, and then you put your lens on the very end. Doing it this way still works for me to just use it for getting starlight, but this is no longer going to go through blocks anymore. You don't get the benefits of it. And this works for any of the different colored lenses. So now that you know that, let's get that out of there, and we can continue on with explaining what else we can do with these things. Let's start with a push lens. This one is just fun. Actually, most of them are fun, I have to say. But actually, here, let me take that off. I'm going to leave the spectral lens on here so we can use that to aim at a different lens. We're going to aim this through the wall up here at that one. And then we're going to add in a push lens. As you can see here, it's currently kind of transmitting through the block a bit. And then there's a light beam going through here. I walk around, nothing happens. Now if I put this on there, this push lens, it turns it blue. And anything in there, whoa, gets pushed very quickly. Yeah, I'm getting pushed as I go through there. This will work for pretty much almost all entities, as well as items that you drop on the ground get flung off. It's really handy for doing this if you don't want to use water to like push your items or something like that. Plus, you can aim it up, left, right, whatever. Just know that you can only have one effect on a lens at a time. You can't stack the spectral and the push on the same lens because it just exchanges them. They are indifferent and separate to each other. Moving through, we now have the ignition lens, which I hesitate to actually use this one because I'm going to regret it. But if I switch this one off, it then creates a beam of fire, which will burn. That's right. And I need to get into the water. Okay, I stopped burning. Thank goodness. All right, so that is all the ignition lens does. It will set things on fire. All right, let me just take that off of there. Get off. I don't want to burn anymore. That kind of hurt. So let's continue on with a brake lens. We have this here. If I aim this at that, remove the spectral lens, and then I use something like a brake lens. It will break any blocks in between the two locations, including snow in this case, and ancient debris. Pretty darn blast resistant stuff. You know, you really have to kind of mind to get that. But yeah, it destroyed the snow, which it actually harvested it. It does not use any kind of silk touch effect. But there you go. It breaks blocks in an area. So if I put down a couple bricks, it's just going to quickly just mine through these things and so on. And it also works with things like, let's show you lapis, because you know what happens when you mine lapis? It gives you the ores, not the actual block itself. So this is an auto mining tool that you can use at your leisure. Now let's go to the next one here. I have a growth lens. Let's actually switch these out. We're going to put that on there. We're going to then link this to this one. And then I can put a growth lens on here. You can see that it is currently highlighting this area. I have not put it on yet. There we go. It turns green. Really, really cool light show. If anything, you could do this. And with any of these ones, the more starlight you have going through this stuff, the stronger effect it will have. So right now I've got a pretty decent amount. Let me grab some wheat seeds. We've got a couple here, and then you can see it's not going anywhere. There is some light nearby, so they should eventually grow, but right now, put this one in place, and it will grow at a much faster rate. There we go. That was not sped up. That was just took a second, and pow, it jumped. Let's plant another one just to see how fast it's going to go. Yep, one. And it's a bit random with how often it happens, but it will randomly increase at a faster speed with more starlight. So there you go. And these ones still haven't even moved. They're still at growth 0. All right, so let's change this up a bit. We're going to have this aim at this block here. And we're going to go with the harm lens. Yep, the harm lens. Notice that my armor is a little damaged, and my hearts are being damaged. I'm actually in, is it peaceful right now? Let's go into normal mode. Hopefully no creepers come by. And you can see that I am taking some damage. Ow, ow. Okay, this is starting to hurt. Let's use the Regeneration Lens. And you can see I'm getting regeneration, but it's not an effect. It's not a splash potion or anything like that. So therefore, it can be used in combination, perhaps, or just if you really want to, you know, heal yourself back up. It just instantly gives you health. It's sort of like a splash potion of healing dropped on the ground type effect, just lots of little hearts being used at a time. So the regeneration is really good, and so is the harm for any kind of mob farms that you really want. And you notice that I'm actually about a block away from this as well, so it does cover a pretty good spot. Let me just get myself back up to full there. That's much better. And as before, if you just want to switch them out, you can do so with these very easily just by right-clicking. Now let's talk about prism lenses. These are amazing. So as I was saying before, you probably want to have these be close to the location you want, because you can put any of these different types on a prism lens. What is a prism lens? Prism lens is the same as any one of these, but it can be attached to multiple locations, whereas a lens can only affect a single destination. A crystal can affect multiples, like this. The prism is kind of a cross between the two, where it's not, of course, going to give light. Uh-oh, back to peaceful mode. There we go. It's not going to give light. It has to have light sent to it. But once it does, it can then be split. So if I have this here, and I link this to it, then as I would with a regular collector crystal, I can click it, and I can choose multiple locations, like here, 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 and you'll start seeing the different light effects. There we go. Now, of course, it will split this off because I'm not going to get as strong of a rate on one spot as I would on 4. I'm going to get about a quarter of it. So it's definitely going to divide up the amount of benefits or disadvantages that you have on here. So if I put a harm lens in place and, you know, I get a little too close, let's see. You can see it's not nearly as bad. Let me actually switch to normal again. I'm not taking nearly as much damage. Now, if I'm in the field of all 4 of them, it's still going to be a little bit better than if I was just in the field of 1, but you get the idea that splitting it off is going to have a reduced effectiveness. But sometimes that doesn't really matter. Sometimes you just want, and you don't care about an entire huge farm of stuff, because if you have one spot that's focused with a growth lens and something that can harvest it over and over, then you should be good to go. You know, you don't need to actually focus on an entire huge area with stuff. Not to say that you couldn't, though. I mean, let me grab one of these, put that on there, and you can then, you know, have your growth lens going in an area. Or if you have just a farm, if you want to make sure that your animals are being topped up and not dying from stuff, that's a really good way to go. You could create your own little safety zone or whatnot. Push lenses are especially good for this kind of stuff, because then you can push an entire area. Works really good with the tree beacon for pushing a lot of the stuff around. As you know, you could also just use it to mess around in your own base, like your own elevator pushing you straight up or something like that. I obviously have these ones pushing at an angle, so that's not going to be good. I actually hadn't thought about an elevator before. I think I'm going to start using these for elevators in my Astral Sorcery bases in the future. That's pretty good. And then, of course, probably the most important is going to be the use of a break lens, which then you could use it to break an entire area. I'm gonna regret this. Yeah, but there you go. There, I just ruined my altar. And there you have it. All the different lenses and the prism lenses. There's so many different uses you could probably use for these. I just recommend messing around with them. I mean, heck, I just came up with a new idea for myself while I was just doing this little bit by bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, come visit us on Twitch. Don't be afraid to click that notification bell, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.